I am more of a night owl. I am not a morning person. Here, the Pretty Stitch. Welcome to my channel. If this is your first time joining me, I'm so happy to have you here. So usually I post videos about knitting, crocheting. I have patterns, tutorials, stitch tutorials. Sometimes I do yarn hauls or destashing where I'm trying to go through my yarn. And today's video is going to be what I like to call as a crochet chat, where I just sit in front of my door because it's the only spot I've got, and I crochet, and we just talk about crochet, knit related things. And as you can see, no makeup today, messy bun, looking a little crusty, but I'm not going anywhere, and I'm just gonna sit here and crochet. It looks like it might storm outside, so perfect day to crochet. So what I am currently working on is a project that I hope will be out soon. It's going to be a bag, a Tunisian crochet bag. So as you can see, I've just started it. Doesn't really look like anything. And every Tuesday I like to feature what I like to call Tunisian Tuesday, where I either feature a Tunisian crochet stitch tutorial technique, or I have a project. So I haven't had a project in a little while, so I thought it would be fun to do a project. And I've never done a bag. No, I have done a bag. I was thinking I've never done a bag on the channel, but I did do like a little soap bag to store like bits of soap in the shower, and so nothing gets wasted. So I do have that, but I'm actually going to be making like a bag where like you put it over your shoulder. Maybe it could be a beach bag or any type of bag, a gym bag, so yeah, you could use it for anything really. So hopefully it's going to work out. I was crunching some numbers last night, and there's going to be a little bit of color work with this guy, and so I was making a chart, and so yeah, I think it's going to be okay. I think so. We shall see. So you'll know if it's on the channel, that if it's a success or not. So that's what I'm working on. But I thought I'll be working on this, and I thought I would show some projects that I'm working on and I have finished. So let me put this guy down for a second. So one project I finished, and I'm not sure if I featured it on a chat or not. I do have the pattern. I can post a link of the pattern. It's a beach hat, and I have been doing quite a lot of beach hats this summer. I've just been having a lot of fun with that. I did a series a year ago called Bust My Stash, where I was trying to go through as much yarn as possible. And I found I had a lot of cotton yarn, and cotton yarn works really well for summer type items like beach hats, are also kitchen type items. So I've been really trying to plow through my cotton yarn, like my number 4 worsted weight cotton yarn. So I have been making a lot of beach hats, and so here is one, and I like I said, I'm not sure if I featured this one or maybe I was working on it, but here it's done, and I do have the pattern up on the channel. And I really love this hat. I think it's super fun. I love bows. And I did wear this one at the beach a lot. This ended up being my favorite beach hat that I made to wear at the beach. It fit my head perfectly. It was snug enough so I could actually wear it in the water. And it also provided enough shade and coverage for my ears, because as you can see, like, I'm practically the same color as the door back here. So, the sun isn't always my friend. And I do have vitiligo. So if you see like weird, like, I call it my reverse raccoon. So like around my eyes, it's like all around my eyes, like almost like a weird mask. So I have to be really careful in the sun. And so having that little extra shade really helps, because with vitiligo, you literally have no pigment in your skin, so even though I am, have a very light tone to my skin, I actually have lighter spots. You'll see it a lot on my hands. Summertime, it really shows up because I don't really tan, but I get a little bit of color. So the spots that have vitiligo don't get any color, so it kind of shows up more, especially on my hands. So yeah, this hat was perfect for that. It just provided enough shade, and I could wear my sunglasses because I have this whole like system that I do to kind of protect my skin, especially with the vitiligo, because if it can burn really easily because there's literally no melanin left in your skin. The melanin, even if you have a lighter tone to your skin, does provide a little bit of protection, but with vitiligo, like, it's gone. So that sun can just burn right through it. So you really want to be careful in protecting your skin. And it's always been a struggle too in my hands because they get worse every year. It's just something, I'm sure it's hereditary because my sisters have it too. I have it the worst, but it's just one of those things. They say it might be like some autoimmune thing. I really don't know. I don't think they really know either. I mean, otherwise I'm a healthy person, so I just look like I got these weird spots. Yes, here's a hat that I loved, worked great at the beach. And I'm thinking of actually making a like an ebook of beach hats to sell on Amazon, and also I'll sell them on Ravelry. I usually sell a lot of patterns on Ravelry, but I thought like an actual like book with a lot of patterns. And so I made 2 more beach hats, and I still need to weave in the ends, but I do have the patterns up on the channel. So here is one, and here is the other one. So they're the same. This one is a little bit smaller than this one because this yarn I used, oh, I forget the name of it. I'll put it up on the screen. I'll look it up later. And it actually is a mix of cotton and wool. It doesn't have a lot of wool in it, just a little bit. And I heard, someone told me that wool can be a little cooling too. I don't know if that's true. I always think of wool as keeping you warm, but you know, maybe it can. But it's mixed with cotton, and it actually is very soft, and I thought it would make a nice beach hat. But it's listed as like a number 4 yarn, but it's definitely more like a heavier DK weight number 3 yarn, where this guy was made with like either peaches and cream, sugar and cream, number 4 cotton yarn, and it is definitely a traditional number 4 yarn. So the directions are exactly the same as for both of these hats, but as you can see, this one's slightly smaller. So if you wanted to make a slightly smaller hat, you could use, I would say, like a heavier DK weight yarn, or if you want to make like a child size hat, then you know, you could definitely use a lot smaller of yarn or drop a hook size down, whatever. So that is a nice thing with hats, is you can play around with sizes a little bit by either going up a hook size or changing the type of yarn that you're using. Now, I wouldn't say like use fuzzy yarn, but if the yarn is like a traditional tight twist yarn, you know, you could use lighter yarn, heavier yarn, and that would result in a different size. So that's just a little tip that I have regarding sizing. If the pattern doesn't have a whole bunch of sizes, you can still kind of play around with it to get a larger or smaller size. And another project that I'm currently working on besides the Tunisian bag is, I had showed it last week, was a shawl. And as you can see, she's looking a little different. She's looking a wee bit smaller. As I was making it, I do love the design that I'm doing, but it was just getting too like ruffly. Is that even a word? I don't know, but it was very ruffled, and I don't mind a little ruffle. Like, I love me some ruffles, but it was nowhere big enough for a shawl. Like usually I would like a ruffle like at like the border. Well, I wasn't anywhere near the border with this guy, so I had to frog back or take it apart if you don't know what frog means, and just to kind of revamp the design a little bit. So it's still kind of the same design. I just changed some things around so that it won't ruffle as much, like it won't ruffle too soon. So I'm still using the Hobby yarn. It's Cotton King. Which I do really love this yarn for shawls. I have made another shawl out of that yarn, absolutely loved it. And this yarn I thrifted, which was an amazing find to find the Cotton King yarn, because usually it's pretty expensive. I mean, they have sales a lot, but it, like, I think the cheapest I've ever found it was maybe $10, but I think it's usually more like 15 to 20 for the yarn. So I got this yarn for $5, and you can't beat that. So I, of course, snatched it up, and so yeah, I had to revamp the design, but you know, we're gonna get there, and so maybe I don't know, maybe next week it'll be done. I do want to put the pattern up, but that won't be for a while. So those are all the projects that I have to show you right now. I always have stuff going on behind the scenes as well. I do have a really large project going on behind the scenes, but it is for somebody that I know occasionally watches this channel, so I don't want to, I want it to be a complete surprise, so I don't want to have it on here in case they would happen to watch. They don't watch a lot, but once in a while they do, so that one's kind of be a top secret project right now. And then I still have a sweater that I have been working on for a while. That's those projects are like, I call them long-term projects, where I work on them for a bit and then I need to take a break. And I do have another blanket that I am working on that I was working on last week, and that's another one where I'm going to work on it for a bit and then take a break. But that one I do plan on having on the channel. I do have that as a written pattern for a publication. I need to publish it myself because I did work with a magazine and had that pattern published with a magazine, and now I can publish it on my own, so I need to do that. But yeah, so we are currently working on this bag, and I haven't, actually, I know I have made bags before, but I just had this idea in my mind. It just kind of popped in my head last night. A lot of times my ideas tend to happen late at night. I am more of a night owl. I am not a morning person, even though I feel like the world lives off, like it revolves around morning. Like everything's morning, and I'm just, even though I'm older, and I feel like people think that if you are in your 50s, which I am, that, you know, you're up with the sun. And I am not one of those people. I mean, if I have to be, of course I will be, but that is not my preferred time to get up. For some reason, like I usually feel very sluggish in the morning. Like it takes me some time to kind of get moving, and I'm just not at my sharpest in the morning. But, you know, of course, like I said, if I have to get up, I will. And eventually, you know, I'll get going. And now I know a lot of people that drink coffee to get going. I am not a coffee drinker. I'm a weirdo. I know I don't like coffee, but I love coffee ice cream. I know that's very odd, but like I love the smell of like coffee, but drinking it, no thanks, just no. Where I know, like I would say probably 95% of the world loves coffee, and I am then in that small percentage that does not, but you know, that's okay. We always have to have those outliers, right? So I guess I'm in that camp. I do like tea though. I'm a big tea drinker, but I don't always like to drink it in the morning. And I don't like a lot of different teas. Like I prefer mostly green tea, and I like green tea unsweetened. So again, I'm a weirdo. I just like my tea unsweetened. No milk, nothing. Nope, just give it to me straight. So yeah, that's I know a lot of people are like, ew, but yeah, that's me. But yeah, a lot of my ideas for patterns will be late at night. So this one, last night, it was probably around like 11 o'clock at night, and all of a sudden I'm like, oh, I should make a bag. And it should look like this. So then I start making my chart. I'm like on my Excel, and I'm like making my chart and, you know, trying to figure out the math and like getting all excited. And then I'm like, okay, I got to work on some swatches. And so, yeah, we didn't get to bed till like 1 a.m., which I know I should get to bed earlier, but it is summer, and I am fortunate I don't have to work outside of the home right now. I probably will in the future. So I do have a little bit more flexibility with my schedule, and my kids are older, and they're not morning people either. And they have jobs where, like I have one that's a young adult, and he's in college, and he, you know, works, but he usually goes in later. So like he doesn't usually go until like noontime. And he's not a morning person either. And then my other daughter that's at home, she's still in high school, and so it's summer, and you know, typical teenager, she's like, don't wake me up before 11. Like I don't sleep in that late. I usually I guess my ideal time would be getting up at 9. But that's not usually the case. You know, I usually have to be up and going around 8, which to some people is super late. But like I said, my body clock, like I have been fighting this my whole life, and I have felt guilty about it. I have felt like I was less of a person. I was lazy. Because I'm not a morning person, because everybody embraces that person that is up with the sun, or they're up at 4 a.m. and it's this like competition of like, oh, I get up at 4 a.m. and I go to the gym and I have my workout, everything done, and I've run a marathon before 6 a.m. Like, people like that. And I, have felt guilty for that. But it's literally, I'm fighting biology. My, internal clock just doesn't work like that. It just doesn't. And so I'm learning to just kind of accept myself the way I am, because I don't consider myself a super lazy person. Like, everybody can have their down times, but, I'm always working on my house, doing things for my kids, nieces, nephews, doing YouTube. So, I'm not really a super sedentary person. I like to work out. So long story short, if you are a night owl, it's okay. If you're not a morning person, it's okay. Stop feeling guilty about it, as I'm learning to do. I mean, I still sometimes feel bad, but it's not a competition whether you're a morning person or not. It's not. Like, it's just, as I say, it's how God made me. He made me to be a night owl. And that's just the way it is. I mean, I do love a good sunrise, but I wish the sunrise happened at like 9 a.m. Like when we go away, to especially the beach, like you can't, it's amazing if you can see a sunrise at the beach or a sunset. And so I always try to make a point to see, at least one sunrise when I'm at the beach. And so a lot of times, I will get up at so when we were at the beach this year, sunrise was like at 6:10 or something like that. So, I got up, saw the sunrise, and went back to sleep. I took my picture, went back to sleep, and got up, like 2 hours later. So I do like to watch good sunrise, but if I can go back to sleep, I'm going to do it. But yeah. So anyway, I need to count my rows here to see if I am ready for the next step of this bag, because this bag is going to be made in pieces, which I do find is really nice for Tunisian crochet, because the edges are very, very clean. It's very easy to piece things together, where some other crochet projects are not as easy, where like you have like the ends of your rows, and then you have like the sides of the row, where if you have to piece things together, it's a little trickier to get it to look really nice and neat and tidy. So Tunisian crochet is really great for those types of projects if you do have to piece them together. So I am going to count, and I'll be right back. Okay, I counted. I am not quite ready to finish this part of my bag. It's not going to be a super big bag. It's always nice to have different size bags. I'm a smaller person, like I'm short, so I don't always want like this massive bag that's, gonna like take over my whole body. I mean, sometimes you need bags like that, but a lot of times I do prefer a smaller bag that just, I'll probably use this as like a project bag where, fits a small project in there. Things like that. But yeah, we're getting close to the bottom part of the bag, and I am doing Tunisian crochet with this. As I said before, I'm just doing the majority of this project is going to be with the knit stitch, which I find to be a nice sturdy stitch. It's a little bit thicker than like a regular, like if you're actually knitting with knitting needles, this is like a stockinette. It looks like stockinette stitch, but when you're doing stockinette with regular knitting, it's a little bit finer. It's not as thick. So as you can see, like, she's a little bit thick here, a little bit sturdy, where stockinette's a little bit more flexible, a little stretchier. Yeah, on the surface, if you were looking at a picture of stockinette Tunisian crochet and regular stockinette knit, you wouldn't, if it was made with the same color yarn and similar sized hooks and needles, it would look very similar. You might not be able to tell the difference, but then the back side's different, and even like here, you would definitely notice a difference. So it is definitely a little bit thicker. So let's say you wanted to make a stockinette knit sweater but use Tunisian crochet, it's going to be toasty. Just keep that in mind. It's not going to be a very lightweight sweater unless you were, I would say, using a large hook and finer yarn. Then you might be able to achieve a similar feel as to regular knit stockinette stitch. So that's just, if you don't knit at all, then you won't really understand, but I do like to do both. I haven't knitted anything. Well, I did make a dishcloth that I showed, but other than that, I haven't really knit much lately. And I was thinking I would like to start making some hats. I do have a couple hats that I have made that I always donate hats at wintertime to a local charity. And so I like to have a nice amount. And I'm trying to start earlier with that, so I thought maybe I would make some knit hats, because I do enjoy knitting hats. I think it's fun. And I especially like to make knit hats with color work. I love like the Fair Isle technique, where, you know, the pictures and things, or even Intarsia is another color work technique, and I'm not as good at that with knitting. Like I feel like I'm still learning with that. So maybe I would experiment with some more Intarsia with some knit hats to kind of like get better with that, because my skill level with Intarsia, I don't know, for some reason I always kind of mess it up. And I'm not sure why. I'm trying to figure that out. But yeah, I'm always trying to improve with either my crochet skills or my knitting skills, my designing skills. Like I really love to crochet and knit, and I just want to learn as much as I can, and also I love to share what I learn. So that's why I make these videos, to pass along, you know, what I've learned to you guys. So if you are into that, then please join me. I would love it if you subscribed and watched my stuff, because I am on the struggle bus with my channel. You know, I just don't get a lot of views. I just don't. It's just, you know, I guess the algorithm doesn't like me. I don't know. So I'm still trying to find the secret sauce with that. But, you know, I'm not really just doing it. I mean, I would love to be able to make a living, or at least part-time, you know, I'd like a nice part-time job with this. And I am nowhere near there yet. But I don't just do this for that. I truly love to knit and crochet. I think about it all the time. Like last night, I, you know, just was like, oh, like patterns. Like I just love yarn crafts. I just really do. You know, I'm in it to win it. And a lot of people, like, they don't like to knit in the summer. Well, we are in July, and where I live, it's hot. Like it has been record-breaking temperatures where we are, and I'm knitting and crocheting. Yes, I do have AC, but it's hot. So, and a lot of people are like, I don't like to knit or crochet at all in the summertime, where I'm not that person. I'm like, you know what? I'm going to do it. I did not bring my crocheting to the beach though. Some people will actually knit or crochet on the beach, and I was like, nah, I'm not going to do that. I did bring projects. I did it in the house we stayed, but I went to a yarn store. When I go away, I always try to visit like a local yarn store if I can. Of course, like when we went to the beach, I went to Hobby Lobby, which is not really a local yarn store, but there wasn't any that was close by. But usually I try to, but I just don't want to knit actually on the beach or crochet, because I don't want sand in my projects. You know what I'm saying? Like when you go to the beach, like your car gets it bad enough, you know, like you're coming home and it's just, you know, the ghost of vacations past are still in your vehicle if you've gone to the beach. If you know, you know. And you vacuum it out, and you still find sand. Like, I just had my car detailed, just like a cheap, like not anything super expensive, just, and they didn't get all the sand out. They just didn't. So, you know, that's okay. As long as I'm not sitting in it. I don't really like sitting in sand. Like, I'll sit on a blanket. I don't know. It just don't want sand in my shorts, you know? But yeah, I don't really like to crochet or knit on the beach. I've seen people do it, but again, I don't want to have to be like shaking out my projects to try to get all the sand out, or in my house and I'm sitting at home and then all of a sudden I got a bunch of sand on my lap in my house. Like, I really don't want to bring the beach in my house. So so that's my reasoning for that. But yeah, it's been a busy summer. I've been trying to post regularly. It's been a challenge. Summers are crazy. Well, because we went away, my daughter had horse camp, so I had to take her there. You saw me, the one video where I did a crochet chat at an Airbnb. Then we had her friends stay for a week. We have had birthdays. We have a lot of summer birthdays in my family, and we do try to celebrate each person. You know, everybody's special, and you know, everybody deserves to be treated special, I think, on their birthday. I mean, not like every birthday you can't like have a party. I mean, I guess you could, but you know, if every birthday is special, then nothing is special, is kind of how I say. But at least acknowledge the day, wish the person happy birthday, have a cake, you know, things like that. So yeah, we have my daughter's birthday, my son's birthday, my mom's birthday. I have two sisters, their birthdays, and then my birthday's at the end of summer. So it's a lot of birthdays. So I think I'm gonna get off of here soon because we'll need to count again, and I'm getting hungry, so I'm gonna need to grab some lunch and just you know, do some housework, as that always needs to get done. But yeah, I'm gonna get off of here. I'm gonna count and see if I can start the next step of this bag, which I hope it's gonna work out. In my mind, it looks awesome. And sometimes things that are up here do translate to here, and sometimes they don't, like my shawl. So if you are a designer, don't be discouraged if your amazing idea doesn't pan out the first time. Sometimes that's just the process, the design process. Sometimes they do work out the first time, but I would say most times they don't. And you have to, you know, rip back and reformulate, and then, you know, it eventually works out. And then once in a while, it never works out, but that doesn't happen often. So if you're trying to design, don't give up, keep at it, and I'm sure it will work out for you. But I hope you enjoyed this chat. If you did, please like and subscribe, and I'll see you next time. Bye.